under the blistering sun of the Nevada racetrack. The smell of burning rubber clung to the air, thick and suffocating. Engines revved. Fans screamed. Cameras flashed, but all that noise melted into the background as Devin Hayes knelt beside the sputtering race car, hands buried deep under the hood, grease staining his fingertips and sweat trailing down his temples. A brilliant mechanic. Devin could hear an engine and diagnose it in seconds. He didn't need fancy tools or software, just his hands, his ears, and instinct sharpened from years of thankless labor. The $1 million race car sat dead, smoke whispering from its side vents, and standing above Devin, in a pristine white racing suit and smug expression, was Trent Calloway, the driver who always needed someone to blame. "You had one job, Hayes," Trent said with a sneer, making sure his voice carried to the nearby pit crew. "One job. Guess some people just don't belong on this track." A ripple of laughter erupted. Technicians snickered. Clipboard managers smirked. And Devin's jaw tightened. He didn't say a word. He'd heard worse. Much worse. But across the tarmac, a private jet had just pulled up. The door opened with mechanical precision, and down the steps came a woman in a navy blue tailored suit. Tall, commanding, with a presence that silenced conversation. Her black heels clicked on the pavement as she approached, briefcase in hand, sunglasses hiding her eyes. She froze. The crowd parted. The pit crew forgot their jeering, and silence rolled in like a thundercloud. Her name was Eliza Carrington, CEO of Carrington Motors, the youngest billionaire in the automotive industry, a woman whose face graced every business magazine. She paused mid-step, staring at the scene ahead. Devin Hayes. 15 years disappeared in an instant. He hadn't changed much. His hair was shorter, his shoulders broader, but that quiet strength, that intense focus behind his eyes, it was still him. She hadn't seen him since the day she left town without a goodbye. And now here he was, on his knees, humiliated in front of hundreds. And Eliza felt the weight of a memory pressing down on her chest. She didn't approach. Not yet. Devin finished tightening the last bolt, stood up, wiped his hands, and walked away without a word. Not even a glance in her direction. That night, after the firing came disguised as a team reorganization, Devin packed his tools into an old metal case. His small trailer smelled of engine oil and pine-scented cleaner. And just as he zipped the bag shut, a cream-colored envelope slid under his door. Inside was a card. Eliza Carrington, CEO. No message. No explanation. Just a time and a place. He didn't want to go, but he did. The private terminal at Carson Executive Airport felt like another planet glass. Steel. Marble floors. People speaking in hushed tones. Sipping champagne. Devin stood out like a grease smudge on white linen. His boots thudded heavily on the floor as he stepped into the lounge. Eliza stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, back straight, hands clasped behind her. Her reflection caught his approach. She turned. "You look good, Devin," she said softly. "You look rich." He replied, voice dry, eyes guarded. A flicker of guilt danced across her features. But she didn't let it settle. "I want you to lead a new performance division. We're building a racing team, one where engineering innovation takes center stage." Devin arched a brow. "You want me to work for you?" "No," she said quietly. "I want to work with you." But there was a catch. Of course. The car that had failed on the track? Sabotage. Not by accident, but by the Carrington board men desperate to keep power in old hands. She needed Devin to fix it in time for the International Grand Circuit qualifier. "And if I fail?" Devin asked. "They'll bury you." She replied without flinching. "Your name. Your career. Everything. But if you succeed." He didn't need her to finish the sentence. Later that night, he found himself alone in the Carrington Garagea vault of technology and tension. The race car's sleek frame was deceptive. Underneath, Devin found signs of tampering, wires frayed, pressure valves misaligned, a timing chip altered by someone who knew exactly how to cause failure without detection. He worked through the night, At 2:47 a.m. He paused for a breath, and in that moment, memories came flooding back off Eliza as a teenager. Of the afternoon spent beneath oak trees with sketch pads and dreams. She was his best friend once, maybe more, but her father had put an end to that. Just a mechanic's son. He'd said, not worthy of the Carrington name. Eliza had disappeared not long after. Now she stood before him again. Older, colder, but with a truth in her eyes that hadn't existed before. My father made me leave. She confessed the next day. He threatened to cut me off. I was scared. Devin didn't answer. He just looked down at his hands that had built engines, rebuilt futures, survived abandonment. I need you, Devin. She whispered, not just for the car, for me. He looked up, and something in him cracked open. But before he could speak, the door burst open. Carrington CFO Mitchell Dane entered, flanked by board members. Know your place, Hayes, he said with an oily smirk. This world wasn't built for people like you. Devin said nothing. He went back to work. On race day, the stands were packed. Cameras zoomed in on the starting line. Commentators whispered about last-minute changes to the Carrington vehicle. Some even mocked the decision to bring in a mechanic from outside the circuit. Devin stood at the edge of the pit, arms crossed, eyes narrowed. The gun fired. Engine screamed. And then the Carrington car exploded forward sleek. Fast. Perfect. Lap after lap. It gained ground, slicing through air like a knife through silk. Every turn was calculated. Every acceleration precise. When it crossed the finish line first, the crowd went silent. Then the cheers erupted like thunder. Eliza, watching from the VIP box, let her breath go. Her eyes glistened. Devin didn't celebrate. He walked straight to the pit crew, stared down the same people who had laughed at him. Then he turned to the board, who stood slack-jawed in disbelief. Let's talk about who really runs this team now, he said. Eliza approached with a small, black velvet box in hand. Inside is to the new Carrington Performance Division. You're vice president now, she said. Full authority. Your vision. Your rules. He took the keys. For the first time in years. He smiled. I should have fought for you back then, she added, voice shaking. But we're here now, Devin said. That's what matters. As the sun set over the track, they walked across the tarmac equals. Not past and present, not boss and employee, but two people who had survived everything life had thrown at them. In the distance, the next generation of racers prepared for practice, unaware of the storm that had just changed the course of their sport forever. Because sometimes, the finish line isn't the end. Sometimes, it's where everything truly begins.